Hello, I'm just refreshing, trying to get my laptop to catch up with me going live. I see two of you are here already. Come on, what's going on here? It's taking its time. I think I can still see the chat, even if, there it goes. Gotta make sure. What the heck is that? Oh, an ad. Okay, there we go. We're all situated. And I just need to get myself. That looks fairly decent. Well, somebody keeps popping in and out, I see. I see one, then two. Hey, Dormouse, how are you? My day so far has been pretty good. Hi, Linda. I just ended up having lunch. I made the easy chicken soup that I've made before with the using the leftover takeout chicken from the Chinese restaurant. We had Chinese food last night, and we always get the steamed chicken and vegetables, put it off to the side, and then the next day I make soup with that. So that's what we had for lunch today. How are you doing, Dormouse and Linda? And anyone else who is there, please feel free to chime in. I'll wait for a few more people to hopefully pop on, and we can go over my weigh-in for the week. Oh, I'm wondering why I keep tilting my head back. I have the wrong glasses on. I can't see. These are progressives, so I'm supposed to be able to see at any range that I need. But when I'm on the computer, I need to have like my close-up readers for some reason. Anyway, Dormouse had a wonderful few days last week with my daughter in Glasgow, seeing 30 Seconds to Mars, came home and now have shingles. Oh no. That, I've heard that's extremely painful, Dormouse, so I'm sorry to hear that. I'm hoping the next time I go to the doctors that I can get the shingles vaccine, because they weren't giving it to me earlier because they said insurance wouldn't cover it. But I think I read that this year they are covering it. So I'm hoping next time I go to the doctors, I get the vaccine for that, because I have heard it is very painful. So I'm very sorry to hear that, Dormouse. And how is everyone else out there? I see 6 of you out there so far. And I hope everyone's week has been going well. Yeah, it's only 2:03, so I'll give it another couple of minutes, see if we get some more people joining in and chiming in. If you want to chime in with anything. Hey, Terry, how are you? Let me share Terry's channel. And hello, why is it the heck? For some reason, Terry, I'm looking up your channel. I was gonna not try to go through all of my subscriptions because I have so many, but I think I will have to do that because I pulled up, or I put in your name, and now I'm getting all sorts of like Bollywood things and what have you. Watermelon. Oh, I love watermelon. That's like one of my favorites. Like the drink mixes, watermelon and green apple are my favorites. Yeah, I'm glad you caught me, Terry. Now, where the heck? I wish they would do this in alphabetical order so I could find things more easily. Oh, there you are. Okay, so here I'm going to add Terry's channel. For those of you who don't know, Terry has a channel, and she has also been doing like a lot of the tags, some weight loss journey, things like that. Dormouse, the NHS has many issues, but U.S. health system is nuts. Say your insurance does not cover things. Shingles is so painful. Yeah, that's what I've heard. And yeah, I agree. I really wish that we had like the national health care, whatever, I forget what it's called specifically. But I think it's Stephanie, there you are. Yeah, I think it's just crazy that we don't have that kind of coverage for people, especially as we get older. And it's just like a moneymaker over here. It's really annoying, very aggravating. How are you, Stephanie, today? I know we just chatted last night, so we are part of one of the groups that I am a member of and an admin in is the Slim Win group, and we do chats on Fridays at 3 o'clock our time in the US and 8 o'clock over in the UK. Well, that's good, Stephanie. Oh, so the government doesn't really support the NHS much? I'd always assume that was like a big priority to make sure everyone had health coverage and things like that. I definitely think that's what we need here, but you know, the almighty dollar that reigns supreme for a lot of people. And I had Terry's channel listed. Now let me find Stephanie's. There it is. Luckily, Stephanie, you were at the top. Well, towards the top, not at the very top. I don't want to give you a false sense of grandiosity. But there is Stephanie's channel. She is doing Slimming World over in the UK, which is kind of similar to the WW and things like that. So, oh, they refused a pay rise. Government uses NHS like political football. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big thing. It's all about politics for all of these people. I just don't get it. Stop worrying about you inflating yourself and start worrying about the people. Especially here in America, they say, for the people, by the people, yada, yada. I don't think that's fully accurate, unfortunately. Not that I want to get political, just saying. Oh yeah, I'm sure, Stephanie. I mean, I know, like, because I'm on Medicare and I also get support from the state because of my disability. So I know without those things, I would totally be screwed with all of the health issues that I get. So I totally understand that, Stephanie. So what are people's plans for the weekend? Anything good going on this weekend? I am actually, tomorrow is Father's Day, and Paul's son invited him to dinner at a nice restaurant that we usually go to. And he included me because he said he didn't do anything for me for Mother's Day because I am his evil stepmonster. What the heck? Ugh, I had something. Anyway. So I am JP's evil stepmonster, and he felt that he had neglected me for Mother's Day, so he is inviting me to join him and his father for Father's Day. Yeah, Father's Day. So, yeah, see, my mother was a nurse also. Actually, a lot of my family are nurses. My mother was a nurse, my sister's a nurse, my brother's a nurse. I have cousins who are nurses. So a lot of people, and actually, this is a kind of funny story, I think. My mother, this was back in early 80s probably, wanted to go to nursing school. But she had to go take an exam to make sure she could go in. No plans for you, Terry? Sometimes that's the best thing in the world. I enjoy not having plans a lot of the time, although it does make me very lazy. Um, anyway, so my mother wanted to go to nursing school. She wanted to become a nurse. But there was an entrance exam, and she felt a little anxious going by herself. So she paid for me to go and take the test with her. I have no interest in being a nurse. I can't even watch medical shows when they're doing operations. No, no, no. I know it's fake. I know it's not real, but I cannot look at it. I can watch horror movies, watch slasher movies. Doesn't bother me because it doesn't seem as realistic. But once it starts getting realistic, I can't do it. Anyway, so my mother and I went and took the test, and because I was a nerd, I loved taking tests. I thought it was a lot of fun. So when my mother went to the class, her instructor said, "Where's your son? I thought he was coming with you." She goes, "Oh no, he doesn't want to be a nurse. He just took the test to support me." And she goes, "But he did so well." She goes, "No, he is not coming." So I actually took a nursing entrance exam with no interest in becoming a nurse, just to support my mother and her, and she loved it. One of her favorite things was when we were sick. Hi, Rachel. When we were sick, she would love to, we'd get new pajamas, we'd get coloring books and crayons and soup, and she loved to nurse people. So I thought that was a perfect vocation for her. Dormouse, my husband is getting his Father's Day next weekend. He is taking our daughter to Dublin to see Ramstein for her belated 30th, only 3 years late. As she is 33 this year. Hey, Dormouse, better late than never. I have no issue with blood. It is, yeah. See, I'm not good with vomit either. Phlegm, I'm not, I can kind of deal with a little bit better than the others, but I struggled with and worked many years in respiratory care. You're going to see a lot of phlegm in respiratory care, I'm sure, Dormouse. Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, I was a nerd. I loved taking tests. I used to, when I was in algebra class, I used to go and ask the teacher if she had any papers that I could take home and work on, because I loved trying to solve the puzzle of algebra. Now I couldn't figure it out if you asked me to, because I haven't done it in so long. But that's the kind of nerd I was. Sadly, my dad and Ian's dad are no longer with us, so I can't speak. Happy Heavenly Father's Day to them both. Yep, my father is also gone, so is Paul's father. So I totally understand that. Well, we are about almost 15 minutes in, so let me go over my weigh-in. I mentioned it in my Slim Win group yesterday, and I was actually surprised. I did really well for the most part throughout the week. There were a few times Paul was like, "Oh, should we get some ice cream delivered or something?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" So then I weigh in on Friday mornings. Thursday night, we had some ice cream, and he said, "Don't weigh in tomorrow." And I said, "I have to weigh in. I'm keeping myself accountable no matter what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be." So he said, "Oh, but if you gained, I'm going to feel so guilty." I don't weigh in. I was like, listen, it is not you. I agreed to have the ice cream. I ate the ice cream a couple of times last week. So, but I was really pretty good for the most part the rest of the time. So when I stood on the scale, I was expecting a little bit of a gain. But what I ended up getting was -1 pound. So I actually went down a pound. So it is moving in the right direction. That doesn't mean, as I want to believe in my head, that I can keep doing the ice cream all the time and not worry about it. I know that that was partly that I was really good the rest of the time and then not so great the rest of the time. Um, but I was glad to see a negative. Thanks, Stephanie and Terry. Yes, I was pleasantly surprised. While I'm thinking of it, I just happened to notice the thumbs up. If you guys wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up on this, I would appreciate it. I've noticed I don't get a lot of people joining in on the lives. I do get quite a few people watching after the fact, but I was like, I see like D gets like a lot of people, Dish with D, joining in on her lives. So there's always sorts of chatter and things going on. So I was kind of like, should I continue doing them? Maybe it's because it's every other week, it's throwing people off. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know either in the chat or if you're watching this after the fact in the comments. Also, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. If you are watching this after the fact, as a replay, make sure that you give it a day or so because the chat you won't see for some reason until like a day later. I don't know why YouTube can't figure it out, I guess, yet. So, so Stephanie, you think I should still keep doing the lives? I'm just, I mean, I started doing them kind of like hoping that I would keep myself accountable, but not stress myself out by doing every week. But the car boot sale or yard sale, I actually, in Connecticut, we call them tag sales. But here in Massachusetts, they call them yard sales. There are also garage sales, whatever you call them. It actually went fairly well. I didn't get rid of as much as I wanted. But I actually got rid of enough that I made, I think it was like $110, $120. So, and got rid of some things. So I did fairly well. I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of money I got. I do wish I'd gotten rid of more stuff. I did have a lot of books that I ended up keeping in the truck and then dropping off at the library to donate there because I didn't want to carry everything back. And luckily, the Paul's other son, me and his wife are the ones doing the yard sale. And he was there off and on. And at the end, he actually helped me to pack everything up, followed me home so that he could help take things out of the truck. So that way I didn't have to try, because my muscles were not happy with me. I had moved stuff to the truck the night before because I knew it would take me a while because of my physical issues. And I, sorry, I've got a little cloggy in my throat. So I moved stuff, then I moved stuff out of the truck to set everything up. My body was not happy, especially my shoulders. I mean, I could barely move, but the money kind of made it worth it. Let me see, the ones that don't join in with the live, it's their loss. I appreciate that. Well, I don't have a holiday savings, Stephanie, and I ended up spending it on a haircut, and groceries. Because usually, because I'm on a fixed income towards the end of the month, I'm usually kind of like really struggling to get things at the grocery store. So that freed things up a little bit for me. I mean, I don't do much for the holidays anymore anyway. Paul and I don't buy things for each other. We might do something together, but we don't buy for each other typically because we get things we want all year long. The only one we usually buy anything for is our grandson Brian, who's been on a few of my videos with me. Dormouse. I know I thought I would gain after being away and only losing an average of 1 pound a week since I started. This week lost 7 pounds. Wow, Dormouse. So got 2 Stone Awards since the start of the year. Awesome, that is great news, Dormouse. Wow. Say, I'm hoping that if I'm a really good boy this week, I might, maybe not 7 pounds, but I might have a bit of a jump there on the next weigh-in, hopefully in the negative. Oh, thank you, Dormouse. You enjoy the chats. It was a workout, Stephanie. I don't know if it was a good one. My muscles can't do what they used to do. So any exertion, even honestly, even going to the grocery store, carrying stuff back into the house, I can have cramps and spasms for quite a while after that. So it's not pleasant, but my muscles probably could use more of a workout. So when I say holiday, oh, going away on holiday, I'm not thinking UK, Stephanie. We don't go anywhere. Although Paul is taking a vacation around the 4th of July, and our nephew's birthday, he's going to be turning 21 on the 7th of July. So what we're doing is going to one of the casinos, because we're going to go there the night before, so the 6th, stay there till midnight, and then he can have his first drink. And, you know, that's how we're going to celebrate his birthday. But Paul and I ended up getting a room we're going to Mohegan Sun, which is a casino I used to work at. We're actually going to stay at Foxwoods, which is another casino nearby, but we just prefer that casino a little more than Mohegan. Anyway, so that's I guess the small holiday we're going to have is just spending the night at a casino. Because we love going to Montreal, and Paul's been saying we should get our passports redone so that we can go again. But whether we actually do it, I don't know. Travel just really takes a toll on me. I'm not a big fan of the travel. Let's see, where am I? Yeah, congratulations to Dormouse. Dormouse, slow and steady, that is the way to go. Believe me, it's better if it comes off slowly, because if it's coming off too quickly, it's probably one of those fad diets that you can't sustain. So it's definitely much better that it's something slow and steady that you can just keep going and make it a lifestyle. I decided to raise a bed garden this year. It keeps me active. I wouldn't mind, because I used to do gardens, but I cannot get down anymore. So if I did a raised bed, that would be something I could do. I just don't know I mean, I'm home all the time. I'm just thinking, would I actually go out all the time and do it? Would I physically feel like it? But a raised bed I could probably do, and especially if I put it right out here on the porch, I could probably do that. Let's see, yeah, 21, it's like, I mean, I have pictures of them when they were like little babies, and I'm like, where did the time go? And then even worse is when I look at pictures of my younger self and then I see all this. I mean, I had gray hair for a while, so who am I kidding? But it's just time really does pass. Let's see. Dormouse, I prefer small 3 or 3 day breaks. I can no longer travel abroad. Insurance is too expensive, for sure. The only real international trip or abroad trip that I ever took was we went to Ireland. I think probably the first year or two that Paul and I were together, we went with my brother and my mother, and we traveled. We landed in Shannon and then drove, and we had vouchers for bed and breakfast that we could stop at along the way. Drove to Dublin over the week, and we'd stop. One of my favorite and Paul's favorite memories is we went out to a pub one night and we're just sitting there, and some people had come in and they had instruments and they just randomly started playing and things. We loved it. It was so great. But a 15-hour flight, I can't do that. I just can't. I mean, it's bad enough going to Montreal. It's like, I don't know, remember how many hours in a car, but it's a long trip. Yeah, take each day as it comes, for sure. Yeah, Terry, that's what I was thinking, because I used to do fresh herbs out there, and then they get so grown and out of control, and I'd end up losing a lot of it rather than cutting it back and freezing things or what have you. So that is what I should do, especially with as much as I cook. Wow, Stephanie, 500 pounds just for Ian for insurance? That's crazy. I mean, I can understand, but I mean, they try to get money out of you however they can. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so verklempt today. Luckily, I agree, Stephanie. Staycation, that's me all over. I'd much rather stay at home. I mean, I'm basically on a staycation all the time, but Jiminy Crickets. Luckily, my throat will sometimes, the muscles in here will sometimes squeeze and make it difficult for me to talk. So luckily, I'm just verklempt. I'm not having that issue. Yeah, I don't mind like day trips or even an overnight or something, but I don't have hay fever. It, I think it's because it seems to happen after I just eat, and I just had soup that I had made, so a chicken soup. So it might be that. I also get a lot of postnasal drip. That's been common throughout my life, so it's probably just something like that. But anyway, oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. I know a while back I mentioned the problem I had with Wendy's when I went used their app to try to buy Paul and I some lunch because I'd gotten a little money I was going to splurge, and there was an error in the app and it said error at the bottom. So then I tried to submit it again and it said your order is already being processed. And then I got to Wendy's and they said, oh, we don't have anything in your name. So I tried it again. Same thing happened. Still didn't have the order. So then I just had to get the food separately, like order it right at the window, because I couldn't do it through the app. So I came home, and some of you may have already heard this story, but for those who haven't, I'll give you a little background. So I got home, and just to be sure, I checked my bank statement online, and I saw that one of the ones that I didn't get one of the orders showed a transaction pending. And I'm like, okay, so I wrote to the bank and said, just so you know, this is what happened. And I said, it may just fix itself. It may realize, oh, we didn't actually give you the order, so whatever. So I checked the next day, and not only did that one come out, but a duplicate for the other order I tried to do came out. So that was almost $70. And I contacted customer service through the app. They said, well, I've alerted the person at the local Wendy's, just get it sorted with them. I contacted them. The woman was nice about it. She said, we'll try to figure something out. And then she wasn't there for a week. So then she finally got in touch with me again and said, oh, okay, just come in, and then wrote back and said, oh, wait, my manager said that that has to go through the corporate office, not through us. So I contacted corporate again, did not hear anything from them. So finally, I was talking to the bank the whole time, trying to figure out how am I going to get this money back, because I can't afford to have $70 missing from my account. So the bank was submitting things, trying to get things sorted. And I said, is there any update? And this was almost 2 months later. And she said, we're still waiting to hear. So she said, if you want, you can try contacting them again. So finally I called them, talked to a woman, and apparently the problem was the email that I was sending the contact information to, my personal email, is not the email that I use to sign up for the app. So they were not seeing where that connected, even though the names are very close. So once we got that figured out, then the woman was able to say, okay, I can see the transactions you're talking about. And finally, after 2 months, I did get my refund from Wendy's. So hallelujah, I finally got it figured out. So that wasn't too annoying. I was so irritated. 2 months to get my own money back was not pleasant. Dormouse, I am so lucky where I live in Scotland is beautiful. A bit of planning, a few days in Glasgow and Edinburgh, a nice break. I want to see the Kelpies though. I would love to see a Kelpie myself, Dormouse. And actually, my brother and his friend went to Ireland and Scotland again last year. They love it out there. And I'd really love to see Scotland, but I just don't think I could manage the flight. Yeah, finally, Stephanie, it's like, yeah, I'm lucky I got my money back, never mind any compensation for stress. But I'm like, people, I'm on a fixed income. $70 is a lot of money. But, you know, they don't care. It's what their profits are or what have you. Luckily, I did get it sorted, but yeah, that would have been nice, Dormouse, but, you know, you figure a little goodwill after 2 months of having my money. But I guess I should be just thankful that I got the money back. There was something else I was just thinking about that, oh, I know. Yeah, trying to get blood out of a stone for sure. I have been having, and I've mentioned this before, issues with the Healthy app. Whenever I try to input a recipe, because I give you guys the bites and points by putting the recipe in, I have a paid subscription so I can use the recipe builder. But I've got to say, it's been almost a year now, maybe. I'll be inputting it and then go to add another ingredient, and then it gives me an error. So I back out of that and I've lost everything. So then I started again, but this time I start saving as I go along. And then it'll do it again. So then I go back to look at my recipes and all of my recipes are missing. They're not really missing, but they're showing that I don't have any recipes. And you guys know I have a lot of recipes. So I have to then shut down my phone and restart it, and then it will work again. But I've been having this trouble with them for ages. Contacted them numerous times. And last time I talked to them was in April. They asked me for all this information about my phone. I sent it, never heard anything back from them. So I've had a few issues, and I do take screenshots when an issue comes up so they can see what the error message is coming up. And I had it happen a couple of times. I was doing it the other day for, I think, the cauliflower recipe. I'd put in most of the ingredients, not thinking I should save it as I go along. Although even if I'd saved it as I went along, it would have still done it. Anyway, it did the same thing. So I wrote a rather scathing letter the other day saying that, because when I first joined Healthy, or iTrack Bites, it was iTrack Bites at the time, this was when WW was having issues with people that they were selecting as ambassadors, or products that they were supporting that seemed to have some racist undertones, and WW wasn't responding to that at all. They would get rid of the ambassadors, but not say anything about it. So I and a lot of other people at that time jumped ship. I went over to iTrack Bites, which was very good, very affordable. And I told, and as soon as I signed up, I got like a message saying, "Oh, thank you, welcome for joining us," and very welcoming message. And I was like, in the email I just sent them, I'm like, considering how personal it felt when I first joined, that you were welcoming me in personally and things like that. And now I've been having trouble with this app for a while. The messages I get are either, "We're working on it," "It should fix in the next update," or they ask me further questions like what phone I'm on and then don't respond to that. So I said, okay, so apparently, because so many people have come over to Healthy now, you people are too big to care about your customers, I'm guessing. You don't care because we don't pay an exorbitant price, so why should you bother worrying about us? I don't know what it is. But I am not too happy that I have been dealing with this issue forever, and I get no help, or I get partial help with no follow-up whatsoever. And I sent this email, I think 3 or 4 days ago, and I haven't heard a word yet. So I don't know. I mean, I still, because it's fitting in with the bites and points that I've been giving all along, I hate to ditch it, and I can't afford to go to WW. So, I mean, I guess I have to put up with it to get the recipes in there. So I have all of the information, the bites, points, calories, and macros. But it's just so frustrating that it's been going on for this long. And I told them, I said, I have a YouTube channel where I share the bites and points and let my subscribers know this is what it equals, yada, yada. So I'm going to tell them again that I'm having trouble with your app. And if that's okay with you, then fine. But So to not hear anything again is just extremely frustrating, very annoying. But what are you going to do? I mean, corporations just, I remember like even Paul, he used to work for a company called EMC. And I mean, he still does now, but now it's part of Dell. So it's become very impersonal. And it used to be that like the president's wife used to bring in food and, you know, it was like a big family, like people, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just very sad and disappointing that this is the way the world has gone, that it's just money, money, bottom line, whatever. It's not let's keep our employees happy. It's not let's get the best out of them. It's just, hey, you know, yeah, for sure, Dormouse, very, very rude. I mean, and like I said, I've responded to everything they've asked me for, and then they don't respond to that even. So, yeah, it's like everything is very unprofessional. Even I remember going to supermarkets and people would greet you, and now it's kind of like you're interrupting their day or something by asking a question or going through their line or whatever it is. That is enough of my rant. I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but I just thought I told them that I would mention this on my channel. I'm going to mention it on the channel. If, you know, if they end up helping out in the long run, great. I will tell you that as well. But it's just so irritating that it just doesn't seem to matter. For sure, Stephanie, they do. It's like, I mean, I worked customer service, so I know it's not an easy job. But it seems like now they're so desperate for people to work that they'll take whoever. They'll take a body. It doesn't seem to matter. And I mean, I've dealt with some customers that, yeah, I understand in that instance. But when you just walk up to the counter and they're just like, yeah, what do you need? You know, I don't know. We are going downhill as a civilization, I think. But I said I was getting off my soapbox, and I got right back on it. Stephanie, you started me up again. No, you didn't. I don't need much provocation. But does anyone have anything they'd like to share? Any weigh-in updates? Any recipe requests? Oh, speaking of requests, I was thinking you do not have to have a YouTube channel for this, but if anyone would like to go live with me, you can let me know. We can chat about whatever you want to chat about. I did ask Stephanie, but she doesn't think she'd have much to say, although I don't believe that. Yeah, a big smile. That will get them. Personally, I don't have usually enough willpower to not be annoying back. But, okay, at least you're thinking about it, Stephanie. But as I said, you don't have to have a YouTube channel to actually go live with me. So if any of you would like to go live and have a little chit chat with me, just let me know. And, you know, let me know in the comments, in the chat, what have you, and we will try to set something up. Exactly, Dormouse. And it's funny because if you did the same thing to them, they would have a conniption. And it's like, I don't know if it's just the generation. I don't know what it is. Because it's not actually even just young kids. It's older people too. So it's, you know, not just a single generation. It's this time period. And you can't even say it's because it's post-COVID and people have forgotten how to be in the world, because this was going on before COVID. Yeah, I mean, you think, would I want somebody treating me this way? Would cross your mind? Apparently not. But I was always very professional for the most part, unless I was pushed. And there were customers, especially repeat customers, who would try to get away with things and we'd have this one older woman would come in with her gallon of milk, or half gallon maybe, I don't remember, maybe it was a half gallon, but there'd be this much milk left in the bottom. And she'd say, oh, this has gone sour, I'd like to replace it. Once you open the milk, and especially once it's past its date, yeah, it's going to go sour eventually. That doesn't mean you keep coming back when it goes sour to get your free milk. So things like that, I get if you have to deal with that kind of thing, maybe having a bit of a reaction. But, oh yeah, penguins of Madagascar, yep. That smile and wave, yeah. That looks frightening when I did that. Anyway, but if anyone does have anything they'd like to say, see, that's another thing with the lives. I did do the topic. I have the topic over here that we did in the Slimwin group that we had talked about, which was about eating triggers. But I don't want to just read things to you necessarily. And I mean, I can, but I'd like us to have a little dialogue and whatnot. And I can't come up with things in my head all the time. I mean, there are voices in my head, believe me, but yeah, so anyway, I am apologizing again for clearing my throat. Very unprofessional of me. I've never declared to be professional. Oh, I don't doubt that at all, Stephanie. I'm sure you have voices as well. Actually, as we mentioned, I think it was in the Slimwin group yesterday, I will start doing something and then start having a conversation in my head, whether it's with Paul or anybody. And I will actually start getting pissed off by what I'm imagining the response to me is. I mean, go figure. Makes no sense. Dormouse, smile and wave my daughter's phrase. I phone, say, GP surgery and start with, hello, how was your day? And it totally throws them. And it means I have set the conversation tone. Yeah, I agree. Oh my God. I just saw a message come up and it said, I keep getting, I don't know if you guys get this, but I keep getting these texts from numbers that say, oh, I just found your number in my phone, or hey, how about dinner this weekend, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know you. Apparently, I guess it's, from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is how it really works. Yeah, I've heard it's a scam, Stephanie, that you talk to them and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not the person that you're trying to reach. And then they kind of like start to chat with you back and forth, and then somehow finagle you into doing something for them monetarily. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's what I've heard these text messages are. So as soon as I get one, I'm just like, I automatically block the number. But I get them all the time, and one just popped up on the phone. That's what made me think of it. I'm like, oh, somebody, I don't know if it was you, Stephanie, or not, maybe not. Um, but there was a movie called The Beekeeper on Netflix, I want to say, with Jason Statham, who always love a Jason Statham movie. Um, but he actually, it's like action movies. Um, but this time I thought it was very interesting because the villain that he was going after were these phone scammers. Because the woman that he was living in her barn or using her barn or something, my memory is not great, um, ended up killing herself because of a scam where they took everything from her and from a foundation that she was working or something. So he goes after the people who've done it. And I was like, finally, even if it's only in a movie, scammers are getting payback. And I've also watched some of the YouTube channels where these people really know their computer stuff, so they kind of scam the scammers, where they let the scammers call in and then they reverse it and they can see through their cameras, they can access their stuff. And I love watching that stuff. They get so freaked out. I get the mom, I lost my phone. My daughter laughs when I tell her, as she says, yeah, peace from endless cat. Yeah, nobody would want my phone either. It's full of a bunch of crap, a bunch of games that Paul is always telling me to stop playing those phone games. And it's just a little addictive, especially I'm watching like a true crime show where you don't have to necessarily watch everything, pay attention that closely. I'll be playing, my favorite is Disney Emoji Blitz, which, yes, it is kind of childish, but I don't care. And then I do, I keep thinking Lingo because that's the show that RuPaul did based on Wordle. Um, I do like doing that because I love a word puzzle, word games. I do Candy Crush on occasion, and then there's another one. It's Kingdom something. I don't know. Those are the only ones I really do, and then I check Facebook and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, nobody really wants my phone either. They're not going to see much of any value. I don't mind Jason Statham, Snatch, Spy, and The Bank Job are good. Well, yeah, Jason Statham, I mean, his movies are always very engaging, but then look at Jason Statham. I mean, how can you not want to look at that for an hour and a half or so? Come on. That's not how I always watch my movies, but it does help. Let me see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I felt like blabbing about today. I don't think so. I talked about what we're doing tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably about all I have to say, unless anyone has anything they want to ask. Supernova. All right, I do want to watch it. I'm trying to get an answer out of Paul to see if he will watch it with me. Two things are preventing him from agreeing to it, I believe. First of all, he does not like movies that make him cry, especially if it's sobbing movies. Secondly, his mother has Alzheimer's, so I think it might be a little too close to home for him to watch that. So I may end up watching it myself, but I'm trying to get a firm answer from him whether he wants to watch it or not. But I will be watching it. Like I told you, it is in my queue. So yeah, and it is kind of an odd name. I can see why people might have been confused at the theater, like you were saying, um, that they walked in and had no idea that it was a movie with a gay couple and dementia and things like that. Um, so I can understand why people would be confused by the name. Do they actually, I don't know if you remember, but do they actually explain why it's called Supernova? Like, is there some meaning that they relate throughout the movie that makes it make sense? Because I automatically would have assumed it was a science fiction movie, but I do want to watch it. So I will watch it. I'm sure I'll watch it this week. And it's a little easier for me to watch it if he doesn't want to watch it, because then I can watch it whenever I want. Um, if I wait for him, it has to be when he has time, when he's not working, yada, yada. Yeah, it sounds really great, and I love the actors. So, I mean, Stanley Tucci and Colin Firth, they're both great actors. So I definitely want to see that. And I will be seeing it soon. But don't forget to please give me a thumbs up on this. I've noticed the past couple of videos, regular videos that I put up, I mean, I could get, one of them was just an unboxing and a test of the cookware. And I was actually going to do a recipe for that week, but I just got too stressed trying to manage everything. So I ended up using that as my Friday video. And then this week with the Indian spice cauliflower, the views were very low to begin with. So I'm wondering, I want to see when we go into other recipes, if maybe it's just that choice of recipe that was keeping, or video, in the case of the cookware, if that's what was keeping the views low or what, we will see. One Life, that sounds familiar. Is that a movie? Because I think there was a show called One Life, or was that, I don't know. I can remember some things so perfectly, like I'll see an actor and I'll be like, oh, they were in this, they were in that. And Paul's like, how do you remember this stuff? But then other things, oh, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, anything with Anthony Hopkins has got to be good. So I will add that to my list. I'm feeling like I have homework. If I don't watch these movies, Stephanie's going to give me a failing grade based on a true story. Oh, yeah, I don't think that's what I'd watched, but it does sound familiar. So we may have seen the trailers for it. But if no one has anything else that they'd like to share, Clueless with Films on more books and music. I used to read all the time, Dormouse, and for some reason the past few years, I just can't do it. I mean, I'll listen to audiobooks, but actually, I sit there with my phone, so I could easily sit there with a book. I don't know why I don't do it. I just kind of got away from it. I don't know why. But if, see, I'm starting to have a little spasm in my arm. But if no one has anything else that they like to say, anything they want to ask, or any more movies that they want to demand request that I watch, Kindle, I'm on chapter. Now, I know you've read that before, Stephanie. This is not your first time reading Harry Potter, I would assume. I used to go through them like nothing. Cheeky me? Never. As soon as that book came out, Harry Potter, I'd be all through it. This is the first time you've read it. I am shocked. I know you've seen the movies, but wow, I did not realize that I thought you would have read the books as well. See, that's what happens when you assume. Um, oh, snap. But yeah, so I don't know what I was just thinking. Oh, yeah, there was another book series that I had read that was fantasy based called Aragon. I don't know if you read it. It's kind of like young adult fantasy type of thing. That was really good, but then they came out with a movie and it was like horrible. I really hate when that happens. I mean, I love like the Dark Tower series from Stephen King. Loved it. The first movie they tried to make from it, no thank you. But that is enough of my ranting. Which movie was cool, Stephanie? You're not saying the Aragon movie was cool, are you? Not that they didn't have good effects, just as far as how well they conveyed the story. Harry Potter torture. Oh, every night reading it, then my daughter, then she would put on a loudspeaker audiobook. Yeah, loudspeaker. I mean, that's when you need headphones, is when you're listening to an audiobook. Say now, if you had read the book, Stephanie, you might not have thought, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but they just did not convey as, they didn't convey the story as well as they could. But I love audiobooks. Harry Potter on audio would be lovely because you get to hear the stories. You don't have to, I can be doing dishes and reading or cooking and reading. So yeah, I love audiobooks. But I guess it's over an hour. I guess we should shut this thing down. Easier for sure. But I hope that you guys enjoyed our little visit today. I'll do it again in 2 weeks. So that is the 29th. My plans for the rest of the day are probably playing a video game with Paul because we played a little bit earlier. Thank you, Terry. We played a little bit earlier now. Oh my God, Stephen Fry, I love him. Yeah. Okay, so the 29th will be the next live. For those in the Facebook group, I will be doing my chat on Monday. So that's coming up. It's 7:30, so it's a little too late for you UK folks unless you stay up late. But if anyone wants to join, just join the Facebook group and, pop on in. Thank you, Dora Mouse. I hope everyone has a great week and enjoys yourself in whatever way that means. Don't worry about things too much. Just do the best you can. That's all you can do. If you're a night owl, Stephanie, feel free to join in that group. I guess your time it would be 1:30? No, 12:30. Because it's 7:30 here, it'd be 12:30 there. But feel free to join in if you are up. Yeah, I'm a night owl myself. I usually don't go to bed till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but roughly around that time. So, but if you're up, feel free to join in on Monday. But I guess that's all I really have for you today. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.